Visit the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division and you may see breathtaking scenery and majestic wildlife. You will meet some of the 165 million people who live in this division. You can travel from modern cities to remote tribal villages in a day. This is the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division. The Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division is made up of countries of the Southern African continent, as well as the islands of the Indian Ocean such as Madagascar, Mauritius, and Seychelles. With some 2.75 million Seventh-day Adventists, the Africa Indian Ocean Division is among the largest of the church's 13 divisions. Vibrant church members, dedicated pastors, global mission pioneers, and cross-cultural missionaries all play a part in mission in this region. In northern Namibia, members of the Himba tribe have been learning about Jesus, thanks to the work of Pam and Gideon Peterson. They began their work as global mission pioneers, and today they are working with Adventist Frontier Missions, an Adventist supporting ministry. Many of the Himba cannot read or write, and Pam and Gideon are working to make the Bible available to these people. Working with Adventist leaders in the country, their dream is to place small audio players with recordings of the Bible in the local language. East of Namibia is the country of Botswana. With a population of a little over 2 million, Botswana is said to have more cattle than people. Tourists from around the world visit its game parks to view the African wildlife. In northern Botswana, a global mission pioneer is helping with a new congregation in the town of Sveta. Global mission pioneers are laymen and women who volunteer to spend a year or more of their lives planning a new group of believers or working with a newly established group. They receive a small living stipend to cover basic needs and to cover their expenses. Kiba has been working here for less than a year now, and already 19 people have been baptized. He started getting to know people in the community by providing spiritual help at the local clinic and visiting with the headmen of the village. Kiba lives in modest quarters. He has no electricity, so he cooks over a gas stove and sleeps on a mat on the concrete floor. Kiba lives near the game park. In fact, he has to go through the park to get to the nearest large town. Claudia, a local church elder, had this to say about Kiba.
I remember last year we baptized many youth. Also that we have youth in this area, they are having so many challenges. So when you bring youth into the church, it's a very, very, very accomplishing job.
It's Sabbath morning in southern Botswana. In the village of Soje, children gather around their teacher under a tree for Sabbath school. The adults meet in the church building to sing and study the Sabbath school lesson. Thanks to the support of Adventist members around the world, church members in this remote village were able to build this building where they worship each Sabbath.
The mission offerings really help us, because I know that we received a 13th Sabbath offering around 10 years back, which helped to even build and construct some churches around, like the one in Soje. And we want to say a big thank you to those who have been contributing towards this, because now people have a shelter where they can worship our God.
Pastor Shabale hopes to take on one of the major mission challenges in his territory, taking the gospel to the Bushmen of the Kalahari.
The biggest mission challenge that we have is that we've got a group of people called the Basarwa who have not been reached. Those are the Bushmen. And we've got many different kinds of them who speak a lot of dialects of the language, and we have not reached these people, and that is our biggest challenge.
The island nation of Madagascar lies off the eastern coast of Africa in the Indian Ocean. Although it looks deceptively small on world maps, Madagascar stretches some 2,000 miles from north to south. Traveling the route south from the capital Antananarivo takes you on winding roads through picturesque hills, terraced rice paddies, and tropical rainforests. Here in Antananarivo, you can find the headquarters for the Indian Ocean Union Mission, whose territory covers Madagascar and the Indian Ocean Islands. Aniel Bard, president of the Indian Ocean Union Mission, talks about the mission challenges in Madagascar.
One of the main challenges that we have to face here in Madagascar is the ratio of pastors and number of churches. Most of the pastors have around 20 churches that they have to look. And these churches are scattered over a very big region. Some pastors has to travel 50 to 100 kilometers and they don't have good roads to do that. And because of that, we need to rely on lay members, because the pastors will visit the churches once every quarter, once every semester. The lay members are the ones who are the real local pastors. And these lay members need to be equipped if we want the church to be healthy and if we want the church to grow in the various localities.
Near the union office, the church operates a publishing house and a medical and dental clinic. Dr. Oswald Lara is a missionary doctor who serves as the medical director of the clinic. Like many clinics, they could use more help.
We are looking forward to have more volunteers. We are willing to accept nurses, we are willing to accept doctors who wants to come as a volunteer, dentist. We also even need some people in the accounts offices.
Just outside Antananarivo is Adventist University Zurcher. Established in 1979, AUZ as it is known, provides students in Madagascar with a quality Adventist education. Campus life for the students here is much like life for any student with time for study, research in the library, working in computer labs, and of course, taking classes. Then there's finding time to eat, do laundry, and all the other things students manage to fit into their busy schedules. For the past several years, new buildings have been going up, thanks in part to the work of Adventist missionaries from the Philippines, Evelyn and Roger Paleo. Recently, a devastating cyclone hit Madagascar, destroying lives and causing damage across the country. The storm leveled trees on campus, but Roger and his crew have stacked the trees and are already cutting them into boards for future construction projects. The campus needs more space, and they hope to build a multi-purpose building, but they need to raise funds for other building materials. Students here have many dreams for their future, from an agricultural career to becoming a nurse or a pastor. The former rector of the university sums it up best.
The mission of AZ is very simple. It's just to train students for the service of the Lord.
For years, this Adventist church has been a beacon of light in the once troubled township of Soweto. Next to the church is a small Adventist school, the first elementary school in the conference. The church is in a prestigious neighborhood not far from the homes of renowned South Africans Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela. Not far from here in Johannesburg is another church. Not long ago, the pastor and members of this church were part of another denomination. An Adventist couple started studying the Bible with the pastor, and before long he was convinced that he and his church should be keeping the Sabbath. He invited his Adventist friend to come to church to talk about the 10 Commandments. One Sunday, he and many members of his congregation decided that the next week they would meet on Sabbath. Today, the church is a Seventh-day Adventist church. On Sabbath, the church is full, and the congregation is hoping to buy a larger building across the street, so the children won't have to meet on a nearby driveway. From the shores of Mozambique to the rivers of Botswana, from the churches in Soweto, Pretoria, and Johannesburg to new congregations and members in Madagascar, the church in the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division is growing. They face challenges like large distances, economic hardship, and working in large urban areas. But they ask for your prayers. Please pray for the pastors, global mission pioneers, church leaders, and members of the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division. And thank you for your support of the mission offerings.